Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Charles Coachman, and this is Bay Area. Let's talk music. Bay Area, let's talk music. And let's get our show started the right way. I got in here, got my screen up, realized I didn't have my glasses, so I had to call my wife to run my glasses in here real quick. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm getting goofy as can be. Seems like I'm forgetting everything. I just blame it on the producer though, so that's okay. That is all right. Well, let's take a look. Birthday shout outs. We got Mary Riley. Mary Riley, happy birthday to you. Mary is a young lady out of Antioch, California, who now lives in the Midwest, either Indiana or Illinois. So, Mary Riley, happy birthday to you. Wishing you a very, very happy birthday. If it is your birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. All right. Let's see what we got going on. Let's take a quick look and talk about the companies that we are using. And that is the Grow Live Academy. Grow Live Academy is a Ken Walls company. If you want to learn how to go live to grow your business, check out the Grow Live Academy. Grow Live Academy, Ken Walls. www.streamyard.com. That's a platform that we are using to go live right now. So streamyard.com. It is a terrific program. Check it out. And then the last company is Hippo Video. Hippo Video is a terrific company. If you want to send an email of video to your clients, you just attach the email. They don't have to upload. They don't have to download. Boom, just press play and you're ready to go. And the messages are perfect. So, Grow Live Academy, StreamYard.com, and Hippo Video. 3 great companies that do it all for you. All right, let's take a quick look here. Want to get out of that portion, and just keep going. Bay Area, let's talk. And I'm possibly forgot to say I am Charles Coachman. And you can reach me by phoning or texting 408-439-0766. Again, 408-439-0766. Or you can email us at bayarealetstalk@gmail.com. bayarealetstalk@gmail.com. And then you can find us on Facebook. We have the Bay Area Let's Talk Music Facebook page. So Bay Area Let's Talk Music Facebook page. That's where you can find these shows being broadcast. And then we post music on the Soundtrack of My Life Facebook page. So Soundtrack of My Life Facebook page. And let's see. Along with that, we have put out 2 journals. The Soundtrack of My Life, 100 top singles of the 1960s. I think some of the best songs ever from the 1960s. And then the Soundtrack of My Life journal from 1977, 100 top hits of 1977. There are some spectacular hits. That was the year I graduated from high school. That's the reason I did it. Our next journal will be a 1950s journal, which I'm actually looking forward to that, because all the music that we listened to in the 60s and 70s and 80s was taken from what had been laid. All the groundwork had been laid in the 40s and 50s. But the 50s, we finally start to see rock and roll come in. And some of those songs are incredible. And some of the songs you will recognize being played later on in the 60s and 70s. And you said, oh, but this was their song. Well, no, it wasn't. It was recorded back then. They just remade it and made it their own. But it wasn't. It came from the 1950s, and there's so much terrific music. When you think about the 1950s, you got to think about Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry. most of his big hits were in the 1950s, and they are still popular today. So, hey, when you look back at music from the 50s, you have to realize that it was some great music. Some of Elvis's biggest hits, most of them 1950s. So think about it. All right, I'm going to take a look at birthdays, and we're going to play a quick video. We're going to do something real quick. We're going to share this out. Try not to get in trouble with anybody. You hear me, YouTube? No, I want no trouble. So let's see. We're going to pop this up there real quick, and I'm going to do a couple short videos. We'll have to pop back out real quick and then go back in. But I want to make sure that I get this. This lady was born in 1940. So this was her biggest hit.
You've been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin', and now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Look at the length of those skirts.
Yeah.
Oh, get walking. Get walking. Nancy Sinatra. How awesome is that? You know, that hit was back in 1967. 1967. That was a few years ago. Try about 55 years ago, 54 years ago. Nancy Sinatra. But you know what? She had another hit. She actually had a couple more hits, but one was with her dad. And I thought I'd play their music here for just a second. Let's make sure that we can get in there and do that. So I better share once again, or I won't be able to do it. Won't be able to play it. So let's take a quick look here and then share this. This is Daddy and Daughter. I don't know if the song's real appropriate for them two to be singing to each other, but
Spend an evening with me. And if we go someplace to dance, I know that there's a chance you won't be leaving with me. Then afterwards we drop into a quiet little place and have a drink or two. And then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like I love you.
You know, when I get to hear Frank Sinatra, I love it. I don't care if he's singing with his daughter. I love Frank Sinatra's voice. And you know what? A lot of people did. But I really loved it. Of course, I loved one of the biggest songs for me was Strangers in the Night. And I just thought, how cool is this dude? How cool is this dude? So that was Nancy Sinatra. So let's take a quick look and see what it says. Nancy Sinatra, singer and actress, had a 1966 UK and US #1 hits with These Boots Are Made for Walking. So, wow. So that was 55 years ago. 55 years ago. And then she had this other song, this Something Stupid, was a #1 hit in the UK with her dad. And it's the first daddy and daughter team to have a #1 hit. Now, this next artist is one of my favorite artists of all time. Just, to me, he is the epitome of Bay Area music. I just love the guy. I've loved his music since 1970-71 when I first heard his music. He was a member, well, him and Steve Miller had their own band when they were in junior high. And I featured this fellow right when we first started this program. And Boss Gags, happy birthday to you. Boss Gags. And this is my favorite Boss Gags song. One of the first ones that I ever heard, and it is my favorite song. We were always sweethearts, different in our ways. Together we've been right out all every day. Laughing in the sunshine and crying in the rain. Together we do happy days and never knew your pain. Sun, sunshine, happy days, never be enslaved. This guy, that song, the first song that I heard from Boss Gags, and I knew right then, I love that guy. I love his music. I just think it's some of the best music ever. And so let's get rid of that real quick. And then I'm going to play another song of his, which is my second favorite song. Now, he had a ton of hits back in the mid-70s. And then going into the 80s, he had a lot of great hits. And he's still out there recording. I went to see him, I guess the last time we've seen him now is about 4 years ago. But he is still going out, performing, and just doing terrific songs. And his music to me is, for the Bay Area, it's just phenomenal. I really think that everything that he does, I just completely enjoy. Even though right now he's doing most of his work out of Nashville, to me, it still says Bay Area. But he is recording in some studios in Nashville that have been recording forever, that some of the greats in. But let's see, Boss Gags, singer and member of the Marksmen with Steve Miller and the Wigs. As a solo artist, he had 1976 #3 single with Lowdown, 1977 U.S. #11, and UK #13 with the Lido Shuffle. Those were a couple of his biggest hits. But to me, the sound of his old band is what I was really into. So let's share my other favorite song of Boss Gags. See if we can pull that up here real quick. And Boss Gags, where did you go, Boss Gags? Oh no, don't tell me my Boss Gags is gone. No, here we go. So I was going to be bummed out. I was going to be bummed out because this is... Now, maybe that was one of my favorite songs because this came at a time in my life where I had just moved up to the mountains and and life was a little bit crazy. I had left the area that I had grown up in and moved into the mountains in Santa Cruz. And there was a breakdown dead ahead. And it seemed like there was always something going on. But Boss Gags made a huge difference in my life, especially musically, because all the things that were going on, his album in the mid 70s, with Lowdown on it, was terrific. But I took a look back to those earlier albums and some of the music that he had. He actually played with Duane Allman, or Duane Allman played on his album, and a song called Loan Me a Dime. And it was masterful. One of the first songs that I heard was also, I believe the song was called Monkey Time, and it was funny. And it was a great song, and I just loved it. And I love Boss Gags. I mean, there is nothing to me Nothing that says more about music than Boss Gags. And for a Bay Area guy, there was some awesome music, but he is still tops in my book as far as a Bay Area artist, a solo artist. Of course, he always had a band, but it was ever rotating. So he was incredible. And I think that's it. So happy birthday, Boss Gags. Born in 1944, so that would make him 78 years old, if I'm not mistaken, or 77 years old. Don't want to age him. Boss Gags, 77 years old. Now, the other fella, you won't recognize the name, I am going to guess. But Nick, let's make sure I got this right. Mick Hucknall. Mick. Now, you may not recognize the name, but I think you'll recognize the song. Let's see if we can find that real quick. Pop in there real fast. Let's see if we can find it. So, Mick Hucknall, born in 1960, and this was his big hit. Everyone that I know loved this song.
Holding that hand, thinking I could be right at so long. When somebody listen to the feeling song, strangled by the wishes of.
So, a huge hit worldwide. This guy has had a career. This song was so big, this is paid for his whole life. Just amazing. As a matter of fact, I saw something from just a couple of years back, maybe 3 years ago, where he's doing this song and does a concert with a huge orchestra behind him. And this is everything. This is the main song. People are loving it, and everything is going crazy. Everyone is going crazy. Let's check up here. I haven't even looked over to the side yet. Jay Skinner. Hey, Charles, if you're talking 50s, you know I played for the Drifters, Coasters, Platters, Marvelettes, and Shirelles. Holy moly, Jay Skinner. 1950s. That's where it's at. Jay Skinner. If you haven't listened to Jay Skinner's show, you got to check it out. He is terrific. And Jay, you and I need to get together and talk about music. These boots, Tim Lord. Hey, I missed your guys' show, and I wanted to try and get on there today. Had a crazy day. I've had a crazy couple of weeks, but these guys have a wonderful show called The Penalty Box. Check it out. And for what it's worth, in 1978 or 7, I played with Nolan Porter in LA, is famous for I like what you give, funky LA, and keep on keeping on. I am not familiar with the name. So remind me who he is. I'm just not familiar. But this is that music. And as I like the 60s and 70s and 80s music preferred, but I know that everything came back from the 50s. You had to take a look back into the 50s to see why the music had progressed like it is. Now, when it came to rap, I got totally lost because where did that come from? But rap and hip hop. But these guys were just awesome. I love the 50s music. On all the stuff, I was just the background keyboard player and never made any recordings, but did plenty of concerts and parties and events. You got to play with these guys. You were part of the scene. You know what? Let's be honest, the Wrecking Crew. Look at all the groups that the Wrecking Crew were a part of. They didn't get the notice. They didn't get the mention. The guys that went out and played in the bands in concert and did all the shows, they're the ones that got all the word. But a ton of music was played by the Wrecking Crew in studio, and then the guys came out and played it and tried to do the best that they could to match what the Wrecking Crew had done. So coming out and playing on stage, heck, we know that several of the groups never even recorded. They just got out and did the concerts once the Wrecking Crew had put the music together, including such big groups as the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys obviously did their own music and stuff, but they used the Wrecking Crew a lot because they knew that, hey, they could go in there and it was going to be done in a couple of takes and done, unless Brian Wilson was going, you know what, I kind of heard something. I think we need to do this again. You know, he's a genius, though. The Shirelles, absolutely. But my point is, you were out there. I've got a buddy. I've actually had a couple of friends that play with local bands and have played with Santana and some of the local guys around here. And, you know, hey, man, we're not on any albums or anything, but hey, you went out there and played with them. You were good enough to go out there and do it. That's what matters. That's what matters. Okay, so Mick Hucknall, singer-songwriter with Simply Red, who had a 1986 #1, U.S. #1, and UK #2 single with Holding Back the Years, and a #1 single with Fairground in the UK, and a #8 Stars, worldwide #1. And then Nick Rhodes, he was a keyboardist with Duran Duran, born in 1962. Happy birthday, Nick Rhodes. And then in 1965, and these were all again from June 8th. And then Rob Pilatus. Rob Pilatus, does that name sound familiar? Well, he was part of the duo Milli Vanilli, who had the #1 song, Girl, I'm Gonna Miss You. And then unfortunately, he died in April 2nd, 1998, unfortunately. But Milli Vanilli won that Grammy, and they really weren't that good of singers. Born on this date in 1891, Cole Porter. Now, this is to where we're at. And Cole Porter, probably one of his biggest hits was I Get a Kick Out of You. And I can remember, I think the first time that I heard this song was out of Blazing Saddles. He probably never thought his song would be part of a Mel Brooks movie. 1915, Les Paul, inventor of the Gibson Les Paul guitar. Amazing man, did a lot of amazing things. The creator and inventor of so much in the music business. A lot of the music that's out there is because of Les Paul and what he did. 1929, Johnny Ace, rhythm and blues singer, Billboard's most played artist in 1955. Died in 1954. He died playing Russian roulette backstage of a concert. Oh my. 1934. Now this guy, I'm going to play a couple of his songs now. He was another terrific entertainer, and one the world should never forget. We should never allow anyone to forget this guy's music because he was awesome. Let's see if we can get it. Start it right here.
My heart is crying, crying. Oh, dear God. My blues never die. Oh, dear God. Come home, come home. Just say you will, say you will.
So that's one of his songs. Now I'm going to share a second song of his. See if I can get in there and get that done real quick. Because his music was incredible. And I just absolutely loved it. Let's get this. And this is another one that is just awesome. So Work Out. And he was incredible. Jackie Wilson, happy birthday to you. Now, Jackie Wilson was one of the greatest entertainers, and just he put out some terrific music. Now, he was one of the guys too that a lot of entertainers followed up on, but he was an original. He was absolutely incredible, but unfortunately, he died of a heart attack. He suffered a heart attack on stage. And died a month later. He went into a coma and never recovered. So Jackie Wilson, we love you. Your music is still on. Happy birthday. And then there was John Lord, keyboardist for Deep Purple. And of course, one of their big songs, Black Knight, and then Smoke on the Water. Nobody can forget Smoke on the Water. So just awesome. Let's see. If we all end up in Charlotte with Jeffrey, do you think we can put together a jam session? I would think there is enough guys. I can't play a lick. I can't sing a lick. I can't do anything. I used to think I could, but I can't. But there are guys that if they come in from all over, I would assume that there is going to be some terrific music to be played. And Jeffrey knows enough people around there. I'm sure they can gather some people in. So yeah, I think that would be awesome. That would be terrific. Now, let's finish this up. Mitch Mitchell, drummer with the Jimi Hendrix Experience, born on this date in 1947. And he was recruited from a British TV show, Ready, Steady, Go. He was part of the house band. So somebody grabbed someone. Jimi Hendrix did. George Bunnell was a bass player. He was born on this date in 1949. He was part of Strawberry Alarm Clock. Their big song was Incense and Peppermints. All right, let's take a look back at a little bit of the news on this day. In 1954, on this date, think about it, 1954, U.S. record labels finally switched from 78s and moved it to a 45. This was when they made the big switch on this date in 1954. In 1967, Procol Harum was #1 in the UK singles chart with The Whiter Shade of Pale. How good was that song? Just amazing. And now I have heard that song played, and I probably should have popped it up, played with an orchestra, and it is amazing even today. In 1967, The Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, went #1 in the UK. It was also, for those times, very expensive. Cost them $42,500 to make, 700 hours in the studio. It spent 27 weeks at #1. 27 weeks at #1 on the UK chart. 1969 on this date, or actually on June 8th, Brian Jones let the world know that he was leaving the Rolling Stones. And he just said, I can't get along with the guys anymore. And the reality was that he had a drug problem that he could not overcome, drug and alcohol problem that he could not overcome, which eventually led to his demise. 1974, Bill Wyman became the first Rolling Stone to record an album separate from the Rolling Stones. And it was called Monkey Grip. I don't recall it. I don't recall the album, but he was the first guy to do it. And you would have thought maybe it was Mick, or maybe Mick and Keith doing something together, but no, Bill Wyman. In 1974, now this isn't rock and roll, it's country, but I love music. Dolly Parton had the #1 country hit, I Will Always Love You. I Will Always Love You, which went even bigger when Whitney Houston recorded it, and I think she recorded it 20 years later. Let's see, 18 years later. And that was part of her movie, The Bodyguard, her and Kevin Costner. I Will Always Love You. Remember that song. Wow, what a great song. 1974 on the state, Paul McCartney and Wings went to #1 in the U.S. with Band on the Run. 1991 on this date, Bruce Springsteen married his wife Patty in their Beverly Hills mansion. Here's this poor guy from New Jersey living the good life in 1991, Beverly Hills. And then in 2003, Led Zeppelin were at #1 on the album charts with How the West Was Won, the band's 7th #1 album. On this day, June 9th, 1972, Columbia House Records, John Hammond signed New Jersey singer-songwriter Bruce Springsteen. And that was in 1972 that he was signed. I can remember some friends went to a concert. I didn't go, and it was at the Cow Palace, and the opening act was Bruce Springsteen. He was opening for Bob Seger. Bruce Springsteen blew away the crowd, according to my friends, blew away the crowd, and they booed Bob Seger. Two different types of music, but Bruce was a rocker and just an absolute jammer. 1984, Cyndi Lauper started a 2-week run at #1 with Time After Time. Remember that song? It was a great song. A great song. Tom Ginn, how you doing, man? So glad that you dropped in. So glad to see you here. So, Cyndi Lauper, she's still out there, still enjoying it. Now, she does a lot of Broadway stuff, but she's still an excellent recording artist. Of course, now the only thing I really see her on is something for skin disease. And luckily, after all these years, they've put something out there that's helping her. So, Cyndi Lauper, Time After Time, baby. Or Girls Just Want to Have Fun. 1990, Wilson Phillips went to #1 in the U.S. with their song, Hold On. Hold On. 25 years earlier, Wendy and Carney's dad, Beach Boy Brian, had the #1 hit with the Beach Boys, Help Me Rhonda. 25 years later, their children are doing it. How incredible a feeling is that? And then we're going to finish it up with this. 1994. It's kind of a crazy thing. 1994, TLC singer Left Eye burns up her boyfriend's mansion because she was a mite bit irritated with him. Now, he was a pretty famous football player, But that didn't stop old Left Eye. She took him down. Burned that mansion up. I don't know if she did any jail time, but I know she had to pay a lot. So that is it for Bay Area Let's Talk Music. Music on, world off. We'll be back on Friday afternoon, and we're going to be talking about one of our favorite bands, and I can't remember who I said it was going to be. I'd like to have Jeffrey on to talk about this because I'd like to talk about ELO, but I think I'm going to wait until I can have Jeffrey on to talk about it. So I'll have to say who this is going to be. I'll have to come up with this. Tom Ginn, you rock. But this is all about rock. It's all about music. So music on, world off, Bay Area, let's talk music. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again Friday afternoon. God bless. We'll see you Friday.